By the third time, I had to put my students into a closet because there was someone on campus with a weapon. That's when I knew it was time for me to quit my job and move back to Norway. So the first time I lived in Norway, it was 2014. I really struggled because my immigration was disapproved and I couldn't be with my husband, who is a Norwegian citizen. And I decided, okay, it's probably best because I'm miserable. I don't have a job. I have very little friends. I don't really have money to even go out and grab a coffee with these people, let alone go out and grab lunch or go to the bar like they wanted to do. So I felt like I couldn't create the friendships that I wanted as well. So we decided that in 2015, we would move back to the United States, and we moved to Florida where we had met in the previous years. And then I got him to agree to move to a new city in Florida where I could have my dream job. I mean, this job, I did not hit the snooze button, not once. I was up and I commuted for more than an hour each way to and from work because I actually loved the job that I had. I really loved teaching. It was a struggle in the beginning because I had to learn how to teach to children, which I had never done before. But after a while, I started to feel confident and I started building a great relationship with these children. But with all the safety concerns that kept happening and we had to keep going into lockdown, it was weighing on me. Every day I would drive to work thinking, I don't know, is today the last day? Are we gonna be the ones that are on the news next? I'm not really sure. And then it's also really hard when you're a school teacher and you have children that are at an age where they understand what's going on. And they're the ones crying and you're the ones trying to comfort them, but really you're crying inside too. You have to hold it together, and you also start to question, how much is too much information that I'm giving these children when I'm not their parent? I don't know how to do this. I also went to a school where at that time they didn't have any procedures of what to do. So I had a closet that was like doubling as my office. So that's where I decided, when it came on the speakers, we are in code red lockdown. I just took that as, okay, lockdown, that means something serious is happening. And I know I'm in the United States. I have a feeling like I know what's going on. And luckily I actually had another teacher with me at the time, and we had taken some things out of the closet and went inside. And that was the first experience. It happened a second time, it happened a third time, and I had other teachers afterwards telling me that they too were concerned, but I had another group of teachers that were saying, it's nothing you can control, it's out of your control, so don't worry about it, just show up to work and do your thing and hope for the best. And I thought, you know what? It is in my control because I am lucky, very, very lucky that my husband is a Norwegian citizen, and I will move back to Norway and I will find some kind of way to be approved for immigration this time around. So my choice to leave the United States was because of safety. But when I got back home, the day that I decided, that's it, this is the third lockdown, I'm so done with this job, even though I wish I could like pack up all of my students because I love them so much. I wish I could just like pack them up and take them to Norway where they would be safe, where they would have free healthcare and dental, and none of them would go hungry, because that was another thing I had to watch all the time, and it just brings me to tears thinking about it. I'm going to try to not cry in this video because I want to get out the information as nicely or as articulate as possible. But it was really sad to see that children would wear two backpacks to school, one in the front and one in the back. And I remember the first time I saw one of these kids wearing two backpacks, I knew how goofy he was, and he was a little bit of a troublemaker. So I said to him, where are you going? And whose backpack is that? Did you take someone's backpack? The one on the front there? That's not yours. And he's like, yes, it is. And I said, what? What do you mean? He goes, yeah, there's diapers in here for my baby brother and food so that my family can eat this weekend. And I felt like such an idiot because I had come from such a privileged background and I didn't even know how these things worked in this city that I lived in. However, this city, it was unsafe. It was a low income area mixed with some people that had like big beaches, like mansions or houses on the beach. So you had like a big mix of families coming from different incomes. So I remember that hit me too, where I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many of these kids that need help. I don't know, it just breaks my heart because you also get to meet the parents and they're so kind and so giving, and they still have like hope in their eyes. Even though they're working at Walmart at night, their children have to walk through basically the ghetto to get home from school, and these kids are only like 5 years old, some of them, wearing 2 backpacks, mind you. And as a teacher, I just had to say like, okay, bye, good luck, I hope you get home all right. See these families struggling. And the reason I decided to leave the States is because I saw myself kind of getting to that point. I didn't have the education, I didn't have the money to keep going. I thought, okay, now that I have like this little bit of chunk of money, I'm gonna get myself back to Norway. When I came home to my husband the day that I was deciding, okay, today's the day, I have to tell him, like, thank you so much for moving to the city and moving away from Norway just for me, for my dream job. But guess what? I don't want to stay here. I don't want this job anymore. I'm losing my mind. I'm scared for myself, and I'm losing faith in just like everything that's going on in the leaders of the country in general. Not just Florida, not just that community that I was a part of where I worked. So I went home to tell him that, and he presented me with a bill. My husband was in a car accident when he was about like 16 years old, something like that. Had to get half of his digestives removed, so he has a lot of issues and he is disabled. So my husband showed me this bill and he said, I have to get this scan every year, every 3 years, every 5 years, depending on my symptoms, to just check if anything cancerous is inside. This bill for a procedure that I think would last 10 to 20 minutes long, that he will have to continue to get through his whole life. We were billed $10,000 with his health insurance. The health insurance that he is paying for every single month out of his paycheck. Mind you, his paycheck was like not even $2,000 a month, maybe a bit more than that. For him, he was a Disney employee because he worked at Disney World. So he had his own health insurance, and mind you, Disney has some of the best insurance. It is one of the best companies to work for in the United States if you need health and dental insurance and a bunch of other things. So with that in mind, all the benefits we had through his company, he still had to pay $10,000. And I'm thinking to myself, where are we getting $10,000 from? Because like $10,000 is my rent. $10,000 is just, for me, it would be two and a half months of my student loan debt that I'm paying off. I can't do that. We can't afford this. So we were both in agreement that we had to go back to Norway, especially for him being disabled and knowing that this is a lifelong thing that he will have to deal with. I went back and I was disapproved again. I had to pay for a lawyer. Oh gosh, I don't even know how much money I've spent on immigration. It's insane. I'm not saying that every country is like this, but Norway is very difficult for Americans to immigrate to Norway. It was very difficult to immigrate to Norway. So I ended up having to go back to the States because in Norway you have 3 months to stay as an American on a visitor's visa. Then you have to go back to the States for 3 months. I, again, very lucky, I got to go stay with my parents. Felt so sick for so many months. I'd done blood work in Norway, which, by the way, even without being a Norwegian citizen, the blood work and the appointments were like $40 every time I went, which is crazy to me. I didn't even pay taxes at the time. I was just on a visa. So yeah, I went back to the States and I found out that I was pregnant. And that's, I guess, why, I don't know, the blood work wasn't showing that I was really sick. That was a shock to me, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, again, here I am again. I'm going to figure out a way to be in Norway, be with my husband, who is also the father of my child. Got to the lawyer, and I started basically begging the Norwegian government, like showing them pictures. They wanted to see ultrasound pictures and whatnot, and I did it. I said, sure, here, have it. Can I please come there and at least give birth in Norway? Because I do not want to pay to give birth in the United States. I also know that Norway has a better like medical situation going on than in the United States. That was finally when I got to be in Norway. I was approved, and I do not believe it was because I gave birth there. I had to fly over, 7 months pregnant. I had to fly over to Norway, and every procedure I got done was free. Mind you, I still was not approved for immigration. I was approved for immigration 1 month after my son was born. And I went to work. Like 1 month after I was born, I was like, oh my gosh, finally I can work, I can get some money, I can start thinking about building a future here. And that's when it really hit that like I was happy to be in Norway and stay. And I'm not saying that it's easy. Immigrant life is very difficult. I did not have like everything that I have when I started. So basically, all in all, I choose to continue to live in Norway, even though I miss my family so dearly. I miss a lot of things about the States. There's great things about the United States, there really are, but it's not worth it. It is not worth it for safety reasons. I do not want to raise my child in Norway. I don't, even myself, before I even had children, wanted to be living in the United States. Second of all, I have universal medical and dental insurance. My son will have that, and his is completely free. And as I am pregnant, everything will be free. Everything will be free unless it's some kind of voluntary thing that I want to do. Like I went and got the flu shot. You don't need to get the flu shot when you're pregnant in Norway, at least. So I just paid $30. $30! Hi, hello, I'm making, my one job gives me $70 to about $100 an hour, depending on what I'm doing. Or actually per 45 minutes, not per hour. And then my other job is literally just working at a clothing store, and I'm making enough money to survive. I'm making enough money to survive. In the States, I could not survive. But I'm making enough money that if I really wanted to, I can go get my hair done every 3 months. I can buy some jewelry every once in a while. I can get my nails done. I can do some luxury things on top of just surviving. But the thing is, in the States, you can't even survive working at a grocery store, working as a school teacher. What the heck? People need their groceries. They need people to stock shelves or at least deliver it to them. That blows my mind. A teacher who's basically raising your children when you're not there. They're giving them knowledge. They're giving your children education for their future. Third, I don't know where I was going. I was just gonna say like a retail worker. Like when I was just folding t-shirts and restocking things, I was making enough money to survive. I could put food on the table. Well, that's it for today. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them for you. So leave them down below and give this video a like if you like it. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.